Blair, I think his time in Super League's spent now, isn't it? Chase Blair, he's gone, and Sasaya Feki, the man who barely had a appearance due to injuries and an unfortunate time at Cast. So it's not a shock that once his contract was up, they've said see you later. They've obviously stuck by him and kept paying him for a long time for very little return in any case there.
Yeah, so that's the end of that round, Mark. Let's move on to round 26.
No, there was a game on Friday.
Really?
Yes, at the DW Stadium in front of 19,201. There was 4,000 or so Saints fans amongst that. Very good following for the St Helens fans, but they didn't see their side win at Wigan. Wigan were able to get the victory. It was 18-2 to Wigan at half-time. It finished 30 points to 10 in the end. Ben Thaler was the referee. In terms of the team stats, St Helens made 313 more metres and kept Wigan to just under 1,000 metres. But Wigan actually made ground at a better average gain. Both teams had 4 breaks. Wigan had five tries to St Helens' 2, as Saints couldn't make their weight of possession tell. Wigan won't be happy with a 13-10 error count. St Helens won't like their 87% team tackle success rate.
For the winning Pies, Brad O'Neill, 50 tackles, 11 from marker, did very well at hooker, I thought. Filling in, Morgan Smithies, who I really can't stand, 44 tackles and 13 from marker. John Bateman, who played very well, 41 tackles, 6 tackle busts, 124 metres. Liam Marshall, 1 try, a ridiculous try, 6 tackle busts and 128 metres. I'm surprised that Ginger Pearl hasn't popped up there, but anyway.
He was the next player down, I think, in the list of meter makers, yeah. If he'd have stayed on the full game, if Conrad Hurrell hadn't ended his season by being fat, then...
He can't help being fat. Conrad Hurrell, 6 tackle busts, 144 metres and 3 offloads. Jack, who didn't have his best game, Wellesby, 8 tackle busts, 126 metres. Johnny Lomax, 110. He had the busted bicep. And Josh Sim, 104 metres.
Yeah, at Mike Webb 58 said...
Love this review. Go on, Mike.
Initial sanguine, another word I didn't think I'd ever use review, was Saints bad, Thaler poor, but Wigan much better and excellent exponents of broken play. Big if, Salford the threat, there's a grand final repeat. Wigan need a better kicking game. Saints need to compose their defence. However, incoming irrational rant following the disciplinary panel. Saints were beaten fair and square. But 2 suspensions for incidents that no one, including Wigan as well, here's one Wigan fan that'll tell you what happened for one of them, can recall. Perhaps Sim and the devil incarnate King Jack should have each had a suspension for accepting being driven into the turf and Wigan's childish shithousery respectively, plus a championship ref for the derby. Rant over, but crap like these RFL decisions demeans the spectacle that drew 19,000 people.
Go on, Mike, stick it to him, fella. Coming Up Roses says, well...
No, hold on, one sec, sorry. Let's cover those 2 bans here, because I don't think anyone else has mentioned them. So, Morgan Knowles got a grade A high tackle, 1 match penalty notice. That was for him... To be honest, it should have been worse, I thought, because it was late and high, I thought. But if people might remember it, it was a tackle on Liam Marshall that happened just beside the post. Liam Marshall kind of broke a tackle, like at the start of a set. He broke a tackle, then passed the ball to Bevan French. Then Bevan French got taken high about 20 metres up the field, so that's what the penalty was given for. So the refs missed this one, I think. But... you could see on the replay...
one of many he missed, in my opinion.
You could see on the replay that Morgan Knowles definitely...
shitload.
Yeah, well, Morgan Knowles was missed in this one, wasn't he? So, I actually thought Morgan Knowles was a bit unhinged in this game at times, but, he didn't... He got this 1 match penalty notice. Curtis Sirenen's grade A high tackle 1 match penalty notice. Yeah, genuinely fair enough. I don't remember that one.
And Cade Cuss driving someone into the turst head first, not even picked up.
I don't think... I think... Hold on. No, let's fucking go back on that. Cade Cuss lifted someone's leg when he was led on the floor, but he didn't fucking drive anyone.
Hit high by the line, right under the post when Wigan were offside. Not even mentioned.
Which one was that? I didn't hear you. I was too busy thinking you're talking fucking bollocks about the Cade Cuss one.
I thought Thaler had an absolute fucking shocker.
Seriously?
Anyway, yes, I do. Coming Up Roses. Well, never in doubt. with the back line Saints put out, it was a walk in the park, scoring tries. Quite
You
right.
really can't fucking accept defeat, can you, Saints fans?
But most pointed out the forwards were better. 3 pens on the Wigan line, and they couldn't even get over. Big worry, although we just didn't have any backs. The hunchback of Wigan Pier, Wellesby, clearly had Cowtit's fingers. He didn't have a good game. He's a liability pit for England. Don't give over. All Saints need now are a couple of past players like Field and French. Clearly sorts everything.
Do you know what you said there about the backs, right?
Yep.
I think it's been very harsh on people like Benison and Sim in this game because they never had a chance because Wellesby, Knowles, they're the two that stand out in most particularly, kept dropping the fucking ball. It never got to the young outside backs.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that's unfair, Mark. But what I would say is the problem is when you're attacking and you know you've got such weak outside backs, you keep turning it back inside. So you're not going out that way because you don't think you're going to be able to score that way. So I'm not so sure because
really Wellesby was out wide, wasn't he, when he dropped the ball 2 of the times? It was out on the left edge where he would have been passing it.
There's no doubt that some of Saints' better players made significant errors in this game. What I'm saying is that with that back line, as we got it, it clearly hampers the way you're going to play. You're missing 6 of your, you're missing 6 first choice backs. So you're just not going to play in the way you normally would. You're definitely going to try and play it in the forwards. It didn't work. We didn't play well enough, and Wigan absolutely deserved to win the game. Notwithstanding my comments about one of my favourite referees, Mr. Thaler, Wigan absolutely deserved to win the game. But and Saints won't get better unless we get at least 3 of those 6 back in the back line. You can't play with that sort of back line and hope to win big games like Wigan or semi-finals or grand finals. You just can't. That's the reality. So we need to get. I mean, Makinson was back this weekend, which is good to see. We've got to see.
Popper will be back for the playoffs, won't he?
I don't know.
He's got 3 weeks, hasn't he? Or 2 weeks?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know, mate. We need Hopewalty back. We need Matautia back to play as a back because Percival's still in a brace.
Well, this is one of the things that we were talking about at the game because people forget that our first choice centres don't exist anymore either. But,
fair enough.
But anyway, people forget about that. But Thornley and Percival, both of them, like Thornley for us and Percival for you, and I'm not saying Thornley's the same class as Percival, but that's where we're at with our centres this year. Because Thornley was first choice. Thornley has been injured, and we've never really had a clear indication on that whether he's going to be back before the end of the season, and we're very much at the end of the season now. Same with Percival. There hasn't really been anything properly confirmed, has there?
No, I mean he had this bruised bone thing. It's been going on and on. I understand that he's got some sort of hairline fracture that's not healing, and so they're concerned about that. I suspect they'll be tempted to get him out for a game, but whether that's a sensible thing to do, we've seen many occasions like this, haven't we? Where, you've got a chance to bring back an injured player into a final, or you're not sure about a player and you play him in a big game. Very often it doesn't bloody work. So, my view is, Percival's sitting in a brace at the derby this last week. If he's still got a brace on his leg at this stage,
God, he's done. Yeah, he's out.
I don't think you can play him again this season. So I think the only thing Saints can hope is that both Hopewalty and Matautia are going to be fit for the semi-finals.
Well, and Makinson, obviously, like you say,
Makinson
couldn't cope with playing against. He didn't want to play against players that were so much faster than him and make him look slow, did he?
That'll be obviously the reason, Mark.
We missed the funny hunchback of Wigan Pier joke because Coming Up Roses then followed it up with a slight nonsense statement about him being a liability if he's picked for England, because Jack Wellesby's a class player, even if he is a prick.
Or he's just a class player. But yes. Where were we up to?
Frogmore says Saints are just playing 4D chess. They have alternated wins all year with the Pies, and they knew they had to lose this one just to keep the pattern alive. We are a generous but mentally superior team. Get on our level. # 4 in a row.
Well said, Froggers. Jen K, I felt pretty nervy at the beginning of this game. Really? But Wigan's hard-working defence kept Saints out. Really noticed Cooper's contribution. He played well. Thought Passy looked good for them. He did. What about Marshall keeping his composure for that second half try? Tell you what about Davies catching him? I didn't know Davies had the legs to catch up with Marshall.
It was the effort. I don't think he had the legs. I think he just had the effort. I think he put in everything he had to it.
Yeah. He certainly did. Anyway, it was a really good try. He did well to keep him play and score. He just gets on with it, Marshall, but he's such a valuable player. I mean, as you know, I've said on both the last two shows that I've been on that I think Marshall's been playing superbly for Wigan this year. He's made a real difference.
Yeah. I'm picking out Cooper. I thought Cooper was the player of the match for me.
I thought he played really well.
Outstanding. Matt Speakman said, "What a night, what a win. We only did everything better than Saints tonight, on and off the field. Keep crying about your injuries. 5 or 6 first choice players out for each team."
Yeah, not all in the backs, dickhead.
Bit harsh. And how life isn't fair when precious Jack Wellesby doesn't have a dominant pack to give him time on the ball. Absolutely battered from about minute 6 to the full-time whistle. I love this team.
White Pie. So
I would say that your injuries are more significant than ours, partly because our backup players have stepped up better. But
yeah, I think that's true.
But you've had some backup players who've stepped up well this year. Benison stepped up really well this year.
I think Benison's done well. I mean, no one thought that Connie Hurrell was going to play the sorts of minutes he's played. I
don't class him as a backup player. He's been picked every week.
Exactly. So, but he was a backup player when we started the season. He wouldn't have been in my first choice 7 at the back. But he's played almost.
No, but I think by this stage of the season, you can't call him a backup because he's played every week.
Yeah, but if all our players had been fit, he wouldn't have played, right? So,
no, he wouldn't have played in week 1, but his performances have justified his selection, haven't they?
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing in the sense that, you know, I think he's done far, far better than I thought he would have done for us.
Well, Harry Smith wasn't our first choice at the start of the season.
No, exactly.
So if we're having that argument, then we were missing our first choice halfback just like you were.
Yeah, I mean, with Tommy Lulai would definitely be in, you know, my first choice Wigan team.
Not anymore.
Really?
Yeah, no, Harry Smith has to play.
You choose Smith over Lulai?
I would right now, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I'd have Lulai on my bench, don't get me wrong, I'd want him around.
and I would definitely have had Connie Hurrell on my bench as well.
Yeah.
White Pie, so where do I start with that? Outplayed Saints for a lot of the game, rattled Wellesby from start to finish. I'm a big fan of Smithies getting in Wellesby's face after his first half knock-on, and Harry Smith ruffling his hair. Nice. After he did something similar at Magic. Smithies was my man of the match, and the Pearl was just the Pearl. Owen, Field and Bevan are just as fast as that's apparently all there is to their games.
A couple of late ones as well. Callum Percy 99 said, "Can't fault that performance against the well-drilled Saints. Thought our pack was unbelievable. Best forwards performance since I can remember. Still think we give away very sloppy ball and errors which could hurt us in finals, especially when we're doing it in our own 20. But what an atmosphere it was. It was unbelievable." And Joshua's granddad said, "According to Sky, Saints had injuries. Well, tough shit. Lots of teams have been more battered this season and for longer. Wellesby proved he's just a petulant kid and not the second coming. Wigan totally bossed all aspects of the game."
Right. News stories, Morgan Knowles.
We've covered those.
Yeah, we have. And the most importantly...
No, let's talk a bit more about some of the aspects of the game.
No, let's not. Let's talk about James Roby signing a new 1-year contract extension to keep him with Super League Club for a ridiculous 20th year.
Yeah, he needs to play in the World Cup as well. But and that's fantastic. But he's had his 500th game. He had his record-setting game. We've talked about him enough this year. We all know he's amazing.
Right, round 26.
This game, okay, so... let's just. You hate Morgan Smithies. We hate Jack Wellsby. It's because they do things that wind you up. It's it's just how it goes.